The MV7X versus the AT2021 versus the MKE600 versus the DJI Wireless Lav mic in probably the worst place you could try to record audio. A completely empty garage that has zero sound treatment whatsoever, and it's just reflecting audio or reflecting sound waves like crazy off the ceiling, off the floor, all the walls. It's pretty bad. There's also some ambient noise from outside. So, I mean, this is about as bad as it gets when it comes to audio recording. You've been listening so far to the MV7X, which is a dynamic cardioid mic. So you have to be pretty close to it. It's not very sensitive, which is really a pro in a place like this because you have to be so close to it that hopefully the gain can be turned low enough to where it's not picking up a lot of the room noise. But now let's switch over to the MKE600 and hear how that sounds. So, yeah, you can definitely hear way more room noise. I'm listening to everything live right now through the Tascam X6, by the way, which is running phantom power to the MKE600. The MV7X does not require phantom power, and the AT2021 does. So these two will have phantom power from the Tascam X6. I just recently changed the batteries in it, so it should sound about as good as it can. I actually don't know if it performs terribly worse with low batteries, but I just want to keep it fair for all the microphones. That being said, this is not a scientific or fair test at all. I just want to keep it real world, see which one sounds the best in a place like this. So you can take that information and do whatever you want with it. But now let's switch this out to the AT2021. All right, now we're on the AT2021, boomed just out of frame. And that is something I want to keep in mind here, is that the shotgun style mics can be boomed out of frame if that's just something you have to do. Maybe you don't want to have a microphone in your shot, which is completely understandable. So here it is, out of frame. It's a shorter pencil condenser mic, so hopefully it sounds more true to life in a place like this, because these longer interference tubes, I've heard, can mess with the way that the sound is reflected inside a room like this that has no treatment whatsoever. It's just out of frame. I think it does sound a little more true to life as I'm listening to it right now. It's still kind of usable. I mean, it's boomy. You can hear that I'm in a room. Same thing with the MK600. So now let's switch to the Wireless Lav, which is already running into the camera. And the reason I'm running this into the camera and everything that's XLR into the Portacapture X6 is because, like I said, this is a real world test. And if I'm using this Wireless Lav, I'm just gonna run it straight into the camera. I would never use the Portacapture X6 with this. It just doesn't really make sense for what I do. And I was listening to this earlier. I mean, it's an omnidirectional mic. It's picking up a lot of the room noise. Now, you might think that because it's close to you, you can have the gain turned down. Hopefully that's reducing some of the ambient noise in the room, but it's still super loud. Also, I want to throw in a little test here. I want to test out sort of the sound rejection. Also, while I'm doing this, it's a good time to point out that a huge advantage to the Wireless Lav is that you can actually turn around, move your head, and not worry about the audio. You know, any of these other mics, you have to kind of stay locked in to a particular spot, because the second you turn your head off axis, here, if I switch back to the AT2021, you'll hear what I mean. You know, the second you turn your head off axis, the sound is, almost gone. Definitely not usable anymore at that point. So I've got a couple things here. I've got a Milwaukee fan, and I'm gonna turn it up to level 3, which is pretty noisy. And I'm gonna point it off to the side because I don't want this to be a test about wind noise rejection. I just want it to be about ambient noise rejection or background noise rejection. So here's the lav mic with the background noise on, and for fun, a drill. So you can kind of hear what's going on. And with the background noise on, and for fun, a drill. So you can kind of hear what's going on. And I might run this through DaVinci's voice isolation to see how that works. But I mean, this is a super loud drill. The fan is not quiet at all. Now let's switch to the AT2021 and see how that sounds. I mean, I'm listening to it right now and you can definitely still hear the fan. I mean, it's super close to it. It's on level 3. It's a pretty, I wouldn't say loud fan, but it's not really a quiet fan, not on level 3 anyway. All right, and now let's switch to the MKE 600 with the fan, and then finally the MV7X. And now we're on the MKE 600. I can definitely still hear the fan, but it just sounds different. So it is rejecting some of it, but it does sound a little different. And here's the drill, just off to the side. If I turn this on, I mean, you can hear it, but I can also hear it in real life, so that is definitely messing with my perception of this right now. So hopefully you'll be able to tell better in the video. And now finally, MV7X. All right, and now we're on the MV7X. I haven't changed anything with the fan. It's still on level 3, and I can hear it in real life again, but through the headphones, I don't think I can hear it. I mean, it's still on. It's still blowing into my face right now, but if I put it back off to the side, I'd be very curious to hear, or to see, or I guess to hear, if I can hear this in post later when I don't have it next to me in real life. And let's try the drill. Off to the side. I'm not hearing it much through the headphones, and this is a loud drill, you know, an arm's length away, a bent arm's length away at that, and I can't hear it. So I think this might be the winner as far as recording in a place like this. Again, I think sound treatment would be the best thing you could do, regardless of which style of mic you decide to go with, but if you have to record in a place like this because you just don't have another option, I think the podcast style mic is definitely the way to go. Just from what I can hear right now with my ears, I might change my mind in the edit, but I don't think so. And I am approaching this from the perspective of someone who's recording talking head or an interview or something. If you're doing some other kind of audio recording, then this might not be relevant to you, or maybe you want some of that room tone to give the feeling that you're in a garage. And in that case, you know, at least I'm providing you with some examples so you can decide for yourself what makes the most sense given whatever you want to do with the recording. But hopefully this has been helpful or at least entertaining. And if it has, definitely drop me a like and a comment. And if you have any questions or if you want to see any more tests like this, definitely let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.